afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to talk to this great gathering. So I would like to thank the organizer for this great opportunity and privilege. So this morning, briefly, I'll be talking about agricultural practices in sub-Saharan Africa, basically on plant, soil health, agricultural sustainability, what we have done so far. So I would say that majorly, it's very important to know that the Word of God constitutes the research background to success in life. So we cannot leave the place of God in science. But having said that, it can be stipulated that the world is going to increase to 9 billion in the year 2050. So there is a clearance call on scientists that we need to announce whatever we have together for us to solve this global issue. How do we provide food? How do we provide good health? How do we provide unemployment for people, most especially that are facing several challenges around the whole world, most especially in the less developing countries? So in view of this, SDG goals is going to guide us in this area. So what the role of a digital revolution, artificial intelligence, the big data, human capacity, consumption, food biosphere, and the role of biocity, decarbonization, and energy is going to help us in the resolving this global problem. Now, I will say that there is need for us to identify the level of technology around the globe. 9 technology pillar. Now we are talking about Industry 4, which revolve around 9 pillars of technological advances: the big data analysis, supply, additive, autonomous robots, stimulation, and a lot of cybersecurity, and kind of a lot of stuff. Translational research is going to help us, and we have adopted this in Africa, especially. So my talk is a follow-up to what Professor Tilang and the professor from Kenya have said. They have said a lot of things. This is just a kind of follow-up and a collaborative way of what we have done. So translation research, as I've said, and sustainable development needs to be synchronized together. How we update our research development, the capacity development, building to improve sustainability of food, agricultural system, and food security. Now, Sustainable Goal 2 said something that caught my attention and attention of the whole world. How do we end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture? Millennium Development Goals around and circle around 8 goals. But the introduction, achievement of millennium goals that serve as an impetus for the promotion of the sustainable development goals make us realize that most of these problems, mostly food insecurity, global challenges, we need sustainable development goals before we can solve that. So before we go into my lecture, as a lecturer, I've come to kind of philosophy that we need to emphasize a problem, define ideas, and provide a prototype and test. So as a scientist, we need to go to the community. What is the problem? What is the issue? What is the challenges? What are our strengths? What do we have in abundance? The bioresources, bioeconomy. In Africa, there are a lot of bioresources, bioeconomy. Natural resources endowed by God, we don't utilize. So if we can emphasize on this prototype idea, it's going to help a lot to resolve a lot of global problems. Now, I will say that, can biotechnology be a tool to and achieve a sustainable goal? Let's see. So I would like to share my few years of experience as a researcher and as a scientist. Now, as I said earlier, the world population have been stipulated to increase to 9 billion in 2050. What are the issues? How could agriculture? We now have a lot of questions to answer. FAO have also estimated that we have to increase by 60% by then. Agriculture should undergo significant transformation to feed the global. What of the issue of climate challenges? We need to resolve it. So that means the 4 major goals of our time we need to achieve, and we achieve the issue of food insecurity, the dangerous climate, health challenges. We have several graduates in our university, most especially in the developing country. After graduating, no work. How do we make them to be a sustainable entrepreneur? How do we develop and have an innovative relationship between entrepreneur, scientists, innovation, advanced center of excellence? How do we relate all this together? We need to know. So that means we are talking about context of sustainable agriculture. We talk about people, planet, and profit. So I will say that for almost 10 years ago, I work in the Research Institute, Nigeria Stockholders Research Institute, because in Africa and major part of the world, production is not our problem, but our problem is how do we preserve for the next generation? How do we process? How do we manage what we have? So basically, because of this, I've done a lot of other work because farmers, they entangle a lot of problem during their planting and cropping season. Weed is a major problem. So I'll be able to identify herbicides that can assist farmer to enhance maximum yield and profit from their work. So we've established molecular work. We've done a lot of phylogenetic, a lot of molecular relationship, and we have established and documented that in some high impact paper. And we went ahead to establish mode of action, how some of these bioherbicidal agents work. We have documented the biochemical, biochemistry, physiological, ultrasonic structures of how they work also. We've documented that, and you can see that from the plates showing the bioherbicidal agents, and when it is on the leaf, neutral leaf, and infected leaf without affecting agricultural products. And we have tested the metabolites also, and we've established that. So we went further in order to identify the active ingredient responsible for the bioherbicidal activity. So using NMR, SCMS, GCMS, and all other metabolomics techniques, we'll be able, and omics techniques, we'll be able to establish the standards and the active ingredients responsible for. So you can see the active ingredient responsible for the bioherbicidal agents. So we have documented that in our impact paper. Also, we went further that most of these farmers, they could not understand English. So we came up with a model that could enable the farmers. So we come up with the concept of animation without borders that explains to farmers through pictorial ideas how they could resolve agricultural problem in the context of bioherbicidal. So we went for that. In Nigeria, we have a lot of agricultural waste, and major African cities, we have a lot of agricultural waste. So we see, how can we turn this biomass to bioeconomy? The whole economy is going into recession now because of COVID-19. I'm still coming to that. So this wastage, as all other two professors have said earlier, we now use it in mass production of bioherbicidal. So we have documented that in high impact paper also. You can see also we went further to document it. Also, we discovered that we produce a lot of grains in Africa. The farmers that cannot go to the laboratory to use SCMS, GCMS, NMR, well, they have access to sorghum, maize, and all other grains, agricultural grains. So what we do, we went through the process of biotechnology using solid fermentation, biphasic fermentation, and submerged fermentation. So we've been able to produce and mass produce these agricultural products, bioherbicide products, and we train most of our students, you can see them on that. So we went further on the environment, because that is the greatest mistake we make most of the time. We don't consider the environment. And without considering the health of the environment, the health of mankind consuming food is at risk. That is why we have the issue of pesticide problem and health challenges related to, as a result of uncontrollable usage of pesticides. So that's why issue of pesticide have to come in place. So from here now, our research group have developed a lot of products that can replace many chemical or synthetic pesticides. So we've also documented that on high impact factor. Not only that, we didn't stop at that, we went to 6 agroecological zones in Nigeria, where we have applied it on the field. So you can see, and we discovered during our field trials, which we did at 2 agricultural crop seasons, that bioherbicide 4 shows the best activity. Now we went further to see the cost, and that is one mistake we make as agriculturalists and scientists. We need to invite the economists, the policymakers, to come into whatever we are doing. So we incorporate them into our research, and we discovered that the bioherbicide agents, the bioproduct, is lesser costly when compared to the synthetic herbicide. Also, we've documented that in a patent that has been signed by the federal government of Nigeria. And we went further to see how do we resolve some further problem in agriculture and food. So my research group have discovered a new raminolipid that could serve as a permanent replacement to costly environmental harmfully unsafe chemicals that could be used for the management of plants and biological control of medical. So you can see the process that's involved and what we have done so far regarding that. So we have optimized, we have standardized, we have published some of our findings in high impact factor. And we've also signed some long-term agreements with Acivia in order to document most of these our findings into a book, and we've documented a patent in that. And very soon, I'm happy to announce to you that some of our work is yielding a very good results. Our textbook is coming up very soon, published maybe in January, on biosurfactants in agriculture, in industry, in food, and in environment, and a lot of other things. We went further to discover that how could we produce animal food? Because we discovered that animal feed is very costly in most regions of the Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. So what do? All the agricultural waste products using biotechnological techniques, we've been able to produce useful products, thereby preventing several agricultural waste generated in larger tons, most of that in developing countries, where their disposal is a major economic and ecological challenges. So having said that, we went further. So this is showing some of the paper we have documented in that regard, where we have produced animal feed using agricultural waste. We also tested on chicken. We have tested it. Also, biomass of various types, we've used them to mass produce various other products. Also, as Professor Tilana and the professor from Kenya have said, we have a lot of fruits in Africa. So we went to discover what are the liable products that we could use to mass produce that could extend the shelf life of fruit and edible coating of a vegetable. So we came up with edible coatings and film that could be used in the adequate management of post-harvest losses. So you can see that we have a cool packing house where whenever the fruits are harvested, it goes through a lot of process. We apply the discovery. But we discovered that these modify or control storage, they are not sustainable. So the farmers, they couldn't understand the techniques. Electricity is a problem. A lot of challenges, roads, government policy, a lot of things. So we came up with evaporating coolant structure. So I'm not going to dwell more because an expert have dwell more on that. But from the biological aspects and biochemical aspects, we went further to see crabs and all other waste. What could we derive then? So we went to derive chitin from the chitin of crustaceans and molluscs. So we'll be able to join it with biosurfactants to produce things that will extend the shelf life of fruit and vegetable. You can see we've also documented that in post-harvest high impact journal. And also you can see some of our, we went further to see people are complaining of diabetic, sugar-related problem. We went further to see some biotechnology techniques that we can use to produce syrup. Now, some of my research with Jawaharlal University in Delhi, I discovered that the application of endophytes could help people to save people from food shortage. And through that, we've been able to document that and apply nanotechnology also to ensure food safety, to increase productivity, improve quality of soil, provide smart monitoring, and stimulate plant growth. So these are showing the experiments we have done, and a lot of active ingredient present. We have established that, and we've optimized, we've characterized, we've standardized, and we've done a lot of trial on post-harvest microorganisms that are responsible for a lot of losses. So we've done a lot of microscopy work to establish this also. The mode of action is that we established, we've done that. We went further to establish whatever product we are doing, what is the environmental consequence. And we've done a lot of extensive work on soilism, soil organic carbon, soil respiration, and a lot of plant physiology. So we documented that and we've established that. We also discovered that some of these are about products who enhance basically naturally created soil microorganisms which are beneficial that could enhance the natural biogeographic activities. So we went further to greenhouse experiments. We've documented that, and we found that it doesn't have harmful effects on tomato plants, and we documented that on that. Now, very soon as we came out with some of our studies in a book, and we documented that some of these can be applied as nanosensor, which could help to mitigate bad and poisonous compounds and contaminated substances in the soil. So not only that, we took the technology to the farmers at various agroecology zones in Nigeria, because adoption of anything we are doing is very important. So we've also documented many of our products and patented. So I want to encourage many scientists, let's document most of our innovation. Is very important. So the application of bioinformatics and biotechnology, we also use it to improve agricultural food system. And recently, we had a very great breakthrough through the application of cluster regular intersport pandemic rapid CRISPR in order to enhance food security. What do? We discovered that most of the biopesticides could not penetrate and enter, and actively they could not penetrate into the crop because of the cell wall of plants. So we use nanotubes and a lot of other techniques to pass across the biological material into plants. So we won a grant from USA, EU, Africa, and Asia Pacific, which has helped us to develop it. Also, we've done a lot of environmental work that could help to bioregulate a lot of things. So we've discovered a lot of insecticide-resistant crops. We've improved nutritional qualities. We've developed drought-resistant varieties, climate changes, and a lot of other works. And we've also used it to clean up the environment, and which shows that bioinformatics is a very important tool that can help us in the various developmental process and understand and produce many climate smart agricultural crops. Now, I have a question. Can food serve as a medicine? Now, we have a lot of foods, crop, plants that could help to resolve several health challenges. So we have garlic, massively produced in Nigeria, ginger, onion. So we've documented extensive comprehensive review in it. So I'm not going to start every of this. So I'll just show some of our work on allicin, on a lot of underutilized crops, their advantages, some of the crops that can help in resolving cancer, some of the work that can help in preserving dairy products, for mushroom also, and a lot of things. And very soon as we had a book documented innovation on food technology. Now, I would like to tell us that could we achieve a resilience to bioresources we now have in Africa and the rest of the world through the expansion of bioindustry and bioproducts? That is the only way out. Otherwise, we are not going to achieve that. So I'm not going to extend dwell more on bioproducts, bioresources, because looking at the charts now, We have renewable resources I've been talking about, bioreaction technology, the downstream, bioengineering stimulation, the air studies, and bioproducts, which now show that the chemical energy and a lot of other things needs to work together. So on Earth, from soil, now God has blessed us with a lot of products. Improved therapy, we can get it to microorganisms, to a lot of other things, new vaccines. Now the whole world is talking about COVID-19. There are a lot of bioresources in Africa that we can introduce and transform into this. Not only Earth, from industrial perspective, bioenergy, bioethanol, biodiesel, biocomposites, biofoam, bioplastic, a lot of stuff I cannot talk about. I can't finish talking about them. What about environmental sector? A lot of other stuff. Agricultural sector, biocontrol, biofertilizer, animal vaccine, energy crop, water resources, soil conservation, a lot of stuff. So on this note, I would like to appreciate the management of an institution of agricultural engineering in UK for this great opportunity. Now, as a scientist, I want us to develop an approach to team science. Interdisciplinary science is very important because without that, we cannot achieve a goal. So we need to work together. We need to collaborate. So we are requesting for a more collaboration from IAGRE with Africa. So I want to use this medium to say thank you, everyone, for listening to my talk. But my talk wouldn't have been great like this without some countries and funders that have supported my research. Daniel talked about recent advances in biotechnology. He said, our program we organize yearly, where renowned food scientists, agriculturalists, biotechnologists come together to share their view. So this year edition, I will just keep one or two slides so that you can see what we are doing. And we would like to invite IAGRE to next year edition by the grace of God. God should spare our life so that you collaborate with us, partner with us, support us, so that the wasting bioresources in Africa can be turned to economy that could lead and raise the global economy. So this is showing some of the participants, the lead speaker that attended the program. And also I want to thank and encourage many of us as a scientist. I remember in 2016 when there was challenges in Nigeria, I was invited by the Senate to come and consult on how they could lift the ban of agriculture to Europe. And I submitted a document and it was adopted, and within a week, we obtained a very good result. So as a scientist, we need to relate with the government. We cannot just stop at our laboratory. We cannot just stop at our university. We need to talk to the government. We need to give them the solution. So special thanks to all my mentors that have hosted me. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all. Without you, I will not be able to talk like this. I want to say thank you to all of them for very good and wonderful time. So my take-home lesson, blessed are thou which are hunger and thirsty for righteousness, for they shall live and be filled. Thank you very much, and thank you for your attention.